hostility continued today outside Minneapolis PD's 3rd precinct.
This is the message heard from protesters. R.I.P. George. Can you hear us now? For another night, the skyline is on fire. This time, though, both in Minneapolis and St. Paul.
What really struck me about being there was how quickly a peaceful gathering can turn restless or even hostile at the provocation of a crowd. This is the scene from the sky right now. More buildings around the 3rd precinct are on fire at this hour. It's a continuation of what we saw out there today, which included cars burning and officers rushing into the middle of everything with gas masks on.
When rocks and soda bottles started getting hurled at them, police responded. They used flashbangs, rubber bullets, and ultimately tear gas. A few minutes before, the gathering outside the 3rd precinct was peaceful. Music played, people grilled out and handed out water bottles. That's not to be mistaken, though, for a lack of passion.
A lot of anger, so much anger.
2 miles away, protesters outside Cup Foods at 38th and Chicago spoke out against the violence and looting in other parts of the city.
Ain't no outsiders gonna be that destructive around here. We're not going to allow that.
We got to do this in an orderly fashion, even though we're all outraged. Everybody's outraged around the country, but there's a way you do things. And the way to not do things is not go, hurt other people while you're in the process of trying to express your feelings.
This is the 3rd precinct here. There are fires burning to the left of it at the wine and liquor store on your left, but back in the back of the precinct, you're hearing people throwing things against the walls, against the glass, against anything they can. And now the fire alarm, you'll see it flashing inside of the 3rd precinct. At the very top of the precinct on the other side, there were police officers who were inside of that. But you're also seeing now smoke billowing from inside of the 3rd precinct. You see that white smoke billowing outside of that, and you also see that fire alarm going off. Now, we know that there were officers in there not too long ago, so we're not sure of the status of how many officers are still inside or if they have evacuated yet, but we do know that just earlier there were officers standing on top of that roof, about 5 or 6 of them, who were throwing down all manner of things to try to separate the protesters.
Where are the police?
We don't know. We are not seeing police out here right now. There are no police. There is no police presence. And Josh talked about that earlier. The police presence has gone to 0 at this point here outside of the 3rd precinct.
You can see the pictures up on your screen now of the 3rd precinct, which is on fire. The concern is, with all of this, where are the police officers? Who's inside of that building? Personnel, staff, people who may be in lockup or what have you. We would certainly hope that they are safe and out of that building.
The police here have made a calculated decision that they're not going to enforce what we're seeing behind us. There's fire that's being set to the police department. As you can hear, that's going on around us. There are fireworks going off, people climbing on the side of the building. They've made the decision that they're not going to stop people from doing that. And I think the reason is they know that any type of police presence here is going to be met with aggression and agitation by this crowd that is clearly unhappy. I can tell you, we were just 3 blocks away at a financial institution that was on fire. The fire department was there. They were keeping a distance. They were not moving in to fight this fire. Again, not wanting to put themselves in jeopardy or in danger with this crowd that's clearly agitated. We've seen no indication that they're trying to either fight the fire or enforce the criminal activity going behind. This is looting. People are crashing through the windows here against, I've set the building on fire. I think they're making that calculation that they would rather lose a building than try to incite or inflame the situation even more than it has. What happens after that, we don't know. Whether they just let the building go and assume the crowd will disperse once they get tired after a number of hours. But so far, we haven't seen police officers staging. There have been no flashing lights. There was one helicopter overhead. It looks like it's now moved away.
There's no siren at all, so there's no fire department coming. Last night, 3 or 4 showed up when the AutoZone was on fire. This is definitely, as Josh said, a calculated decision. Not a single fire truck is here.
They're not bringing in the crowd control. They're not bringing in the riot police. They're going to, lose a piece of property here, it looks like, as this fire continues to move out. But they're not wanting to obviously inflame the situation even more.